It's Friday and we are kicking it into high gear this episode of No Tracers. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. Welcome to No Tracers, the podcast where I take you on an adventure through the hidden gems and forgotten corners of the world. From abandoned buildings and tunnels to rooftop views and street art, join me as we uncover the secrets of the urban landscape. With interviews from experienced explorers, tips and tricks for navigating the urban terrain, and thrilling first-hand accounts of their explorations. Get ready to discover the world like never before. Come explore with us. But remember, leave no trace. What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Hope you guys are gearing up for a weekend of exploring. I know it's hot out there, but hopefully this podcast helps you get through your drive, through your exploration, whatever it is. It's a really awesome episode. So this week I actually have 3 guests on, a trio podcast, if you will. It was amazing talking to these guys. This week on the podcast, we have Exploring with Nomad, Urban Alex, who I've had on the podcast before, and It's Really Not Chase. Follow all of them. Their links are down in the description. This episode is fucking sick, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Buckle up because they have some crazy stories to share, and I am very, very excited to have them talk on this podcast. I will be having, so Urban Alex has been on the podcast before. Go check out his episode. I'll put it in the description. But Nomad and Chase, I'm going to do solo episodes for them as well so that we can get more into their stories individually. But this was one I really want to start having some groups on that explore together. Next week, I have a group of paranormal explorers coming on from the UK. So if you guys are interested in checking that out as well, be sure to hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you're on. And if you like this show, please do me a favor and leave a rating and feedback before we get started, because it helps the podcast grow. It helps us find other listeners just like you that love urban exploring, that love photography, that love just the weird underground aspect of what we love to do, of this crazy passion, this niche that we are all obsessed with. Before we get into the episode, I actually need to share something with you. I have a new endorsement, and it is from Blackcraft. If you don't know who Blackcraft is, you might not be in like the metal community, but Blackcraft started out as a clothing company, but now they have opened another branch called Smoke Blackcraft. So Smoke Blackcraft provides different things like apparel, accessories, papers and cones, bongs, grinders, all the things you need to get your 420 on. They have gummies, they have extracts, they have all kinds of cool stuff that they are getting into, and my friends actually do a lot of their design work, which is super cool. So when they reached out to me, I was like on the fence about taking this endorsement on because I don't smoke weed anymore. I used to smoke weed, but now I strictly vape CBD or take CBD gummies, and they are getting into the CBD space, but for now they are doing Delta extracts, they're doing gummy extracts, all kinds of stuff like that. But if you are a smoker of the marijuana and you need some gear to get your smoke on, go to smokeblackcraft.com and use promo code JUSTTheletterK for 15% off your order. Thank you guys for checking that out. I appreciate you guys doing that. But yeah, I get a little bit of kickback from all of the purchases made through that promo code JUSTTheletterK. I'll put a link and the promo code down in the description. Thank you guys. I appreciate you supporting this podcast. I know a lot of people that explore also smoke, so I thought that this would be a good platform to share this on. It's also like a, I guess, goth geared style. So if you're into that lifestyle, if you're into smoking, if you're trying to get your 420 on while you explore, check out Smoke Blackcraft. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this episode with Exploring with Nomad, Urban Alex, and It's Really Not Chase. Please introduce yourself, guys, and how long you've been exploring to the No Tracers audience.
How you doing? My name is Exploring with Nomad. I've been exploring for a really long time. I'm not really too sure years-wise, but I've always kind of been interested in abandoned buildings since I was probably like 10 years old. It's just been a big part of me. Like I've always been interested in how places looked when people aren't around to maintain them anymore. So I've taken it seriously probably about 5 years ago. Got really big back into it.
Hi, my name is Urban X Alex. I have been exploring for about 3 years now, and this has become a very passionate hobby of mine that I've not, or that I did not realize would be, or that I would have been so passionate about.
Hey, my name is Chase. Really not Chase on Instagram. Probably started, I believe, 2018. I started exploring abandoned buildings. This is my first ever podcast, so I'm extremely excited to be a part of this, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
Amazing. Well, like I said, I'm going to have, if you guys haven't been on the show before, I'm going to have you on separately to do your solo episodes because I feel like we'll be able to dive deeper into your individual stories. But I want to know how you guys met each other. Why are we doing these three people on this podcast? How did you guys meet, and what did you guys like? What initially brought you guys together?
I think me and Chase should start this one because in the timeline of things, me and Chase were the first ones to meet.
It's a very
And
weird story.
and it's a very weird story, and I'll try and make it as not as convoluted as it was, but when I first started exploring, I had a group of friends that I always explored with. I don't really talk to them anymore just because of life and shit happens, but there was one time where we went to explore an abandoned hotel, and we met up with a bunch of explorers, and Chase happened to be one of those explorers. And funny enough, when me and Chase first met, we laugh about this at the time, but he was like, when Chase always said, like, when he first like met me and my group, he's like, "Oh, these assholes," and like, and and it was just really funny because it was that one day we met and then we never spoke again until like later down the road, we reconnected, and then me and Chase started exploring like constantly together. Chase, do you have anything to add on your side from that point?
Yeah, I thought Alex was like a frat boy. I obviously, when you meet somebody, you can't just judge them off of the half hour that you
Sure.
hung out with them.
Mm.
So yeah, I would go as far as to say I didn't really like Alex for the first day I met him. But I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. Me and him, I believe it was me who reached out about a year later. I was like, "Hey, you wanna go check out this place?" He's like, "Sure, why not?" And we just linked up, and ever since then, it's turned into quite the friendship. I'll put it at that.
No, see what really happened with us like actually meet like going that second time from us meeting and exploring like together, like just us two, there was a long period of time where I didn't know how to find spots on my own for the longest time, and I was a super noob like in the beginning. And so when I would always like, just because we met up the one time and we were friendly, I would like kind of like, because I knew he would never give me any information on spots, but I would try and beat him out of it for like every once in a while. I'll pop up like a parasite and just be like, "Hey, what can I get from you this time?"
He was
And then,
that. He was that guy.
yeah, I was that guy. I'm no longer that guy,
Every
thankfully.
explorer has that guy.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm no longer that person, thankfully. But it was funny because one day I was like, "Listen, bro, like let's just go full send a location." And he was like, he was kind of on the fence about it at first, but then I convinced him, and then him and I have just been going exploring ever since.
That's
Got a lot of
amazing.
stories, and we're gonna get into it on that. With Kyle, I actually was added to a group chat with a few other people. Alex actually added me to that group chat, and Nomad happened to be in it as well. And we obviously, when we explain it further, because we have a lot to talk about that trip, which will be explained further in the podcast. But yeah, me, Kyle, Alex, and another one that was on this podcast, Colin. We all went on a trip, probably like I think it was like 9 days, like a 9 day trip together, and yeah, we just grew like very close together on that trip, and that's kind of the reason why we're all here right now today.
Wow. So Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just to back up a little bit further because you jumped a little bit, but like when me and Kyle first met, because it was me and Chase, and then I met Kyle in the Bill Finnan Discord group chat.
Wait,
And,
wait.
Oh God, the Bill Finnan
The
Discord.
what? The what?
oh wait, do you not know about this?
I
Oh,
saved you from the Bill Finnan
you
Discord.
Thank
are,
you, thank
you
you,
are
thank
in
you.
for.
West.
Oh my god! So there's this Discord group chat
Okay.
of like from this guy Bill Finnan. You know
I
who he
know
is, right? Okay.
who he is.
Okay.
Everybody knows who he is.
Okay, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I would be shocked if you didn't.
I know who he is.
But
The
yeah,
Urbex God.
I found one of his business cards that he has for that group chat, and I joined it one day. And this was super early on when I was exploring, so I didn't know what it was or who he was.
Okay.
And just from being active in that chat, me and Kyle became friends, and then he was like, "Hey, let me take you out of this group chat. I have a better one that you'll like better." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then the rest is history from there.
Okay. So Nomad, take me into your side of this, like joining of the group.
So they keep saying I'm kind of like the creator of this group in a way. Besides Chase and Alex meeting, I kind of brought everybody together. I'm a very reach out kind of person. Like I'll talk to anybody. So a lot of my friends are like the bigger guys on YouTube and stuff. And I just grew to be like, I don't look at them as like the YouTube stars or whatever. I just talk, like Bill Finnan's elite, as he calls them. But I just talk to anybody. So I had this whole group chat going. And I was just in Bill's Discord. I don't know how I even got in there. I kind of got just invited to it one day, and I just kind of stick with it just to check things out. But I was talking to Alex in there the one day, and I messaged him, and I said, "Yo, I'm like, I have a group chat. I'll invite you to it. It's a lot better than Bill Finnan's. It's a lot less drama, a lot less like figuring things out." And the first thing I told him is, I said, "When you join this, you cannot freak out when you see who's in it."
Oh, okay.
And he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, don't worry. We'll talk in there. And I added him to it, and not even about 30 seconds later, he messages me and just starts. He's like, I don't want to fanboy, but he's like, how do you know?
No.
How do you know these people?
Oh my god! Yeah, no, I 100% had that reaction, and all the people in that group chat know that, and that's not something that like I have hid from them because it's an ongoing joke with everybody. And it was so funny because it was just like, it was like a lot of the people in that group chat were people that I watched like growing up.
Sure.
And I was just like, I'm like talking to these people now, like what the hell?
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, it was really funny. It was just like, what? Like this is real? These people are real?
It's crazy. It's crazy, dude.
Same
Like
thing with me when I was first added to that group chat. They're how do I explain it? They're the higher ups in the Urbex community, if you want to say that. But I had a similar experience. I contained myself, obviously, but it was very, you grow up watching these people, and then you're in a group chat with them, and you just don't really know what to say.
Chase did not believe me for the longest time because I told him about the chat when it first happened, and he was like, "Yeah, and like this is around the time that me and Chase started exploring that second time too, because I got out of that group chat, then me and Chase started hanging out, and I was like, yo, by the way, like I'm in like the chat with all these like big, like not just the YouTubers but just other big name explorers like in this chat and everything," and he was like, "Oh, you're lying. This kid's full of shit." And I was like,
I did.
And it was just funny. But now those are like our closest friends, and it's like I couldn't imagine like doing this or not having them in my life anymore.
Of course,
and it's just crazy.
It's dope to hear that, you start out as like a lowly urban explorer, if you will, and you just kind of like rise up through making these connections. Like Nomad, it sounds like you're like a connector of people, and I think that's super cool, and that's like a very charismatic aspect of being an urban explorer. Like if you can connect people with each other, I think in this community it like really brings people together instead of like the drama of, say, the Bill Finnan Discord that is just, I'm sure, ridiculous.
Oh god, yeah, that Discord's crazy.
I'll tell you one thing: if it weren't for Nomad like inviting me to that group, and Alex putting in the word of recommendation as a
Don't make it sound like some elitist group chat because that's not what it is. We don't even like.
No, but it's like,
they're regular people when they're
yeah,
not
of course.
behind the camera.
Yeah.
Sure.
But my life will be a lot different now.
Yeah.
Because these people have grown to be some of my closest friends right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you compare it to like, a business or like a big company, like they're like the board of Urbex. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's true.
they like run the shit, like whether you want to accept that or not, but they run the shit.
They do. No, that's very, very true.
The best part about them though is like they have a huge following.
Sure.
They do make money off Urbex. Like, I mean, they don't make money off Urbex, but it's their job, so that's like it's how they fund themselves. But like when you sit down and you actually talk with them, you hang out with them in person, like they don't act like that at all. Like,
yeah,
it's not like they're like a couple of them we've hung out in person and they walk around like it's not like people are like running up to them like, oh, let me get your autograph, autograph. Like they're just normal people. They live their daily lives and they just do what they love.
Yeah, they're not tripping on their egos, and I think that's cool about this niche. It's not like you're not going to be like uber famous from it, you know what I mean? And I think that's cool because it's still underground enough for us to be like low key about stuff. And a lot of people, the reason I do audio only on the podcast is because a lot of people don't want their faces to be seen. It's just like a big part of the community, the anonymity of it all. I think that's like very special, and I try to like keep that mask up, if you will, when it comes to like this show. Like I definitely want people to maintain that anonymity and that comfort that they have, behind the scenes. And then like it's funny, like when I meet up with people, sometimes that like people will say their names, like their actual names, and I won't know who they're talking about because I know everyone by their usernames. And so like when I meet people, I'm like, wait, who the fuck are you? Like if they're like, oh, my name is Brad, I'm like, okay, but like who are you? Like what's your username? I gotta
what's your real name?
What's your real name, dog?
I gotta tell you, it's so weird calling Nomad Kyle sometimes. Like I can't do it. I have to call him Nomad.
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah, even when we were up in New York, we went to an I Prevail concert and one of our buddies, they were all calling me Nomad. And he looks at me, he's like, they call you Nomad? And I'm like, yeah, everybody just called me Nomad.
I remember that.
Side tangent. I Prevail is the fucking shit. I love them so much.
I canceled 2 hours before the show. We were supposed to go to the show at Pier 17 when the hurricane was coming through. Uh-huh. And they shut down literally as we were walking. I think we were like 2 blocks away from the pavilion.
Damn, dude.
I was so upset, so heartbroken.
Was supposed to be my first concert ever.
Yeah.
This is the funny part about that, though. That was Chase's first concert, and the tickets were like $50, super cheap, right?
Amazing.
And Chase doesn't even like metal music. He didn't even know what he was going to see. He was just, we were like, just come to a concert with us. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And
I literally asked who the band was, like 10 minutes before we got in line.
You're like, hey, who are we going to see right now?
That was literally me. And like everybody, Alex, all them looked at me and just shook their head.
Oh my God.
I'm just here to hang out,
Oh my God. That's incredible. And unfortunately they canceled the show, but like that would have been, they're so good live.
Oh,
crazy.
I love them.
It's crazy how good they are, and how much they've grown over the years. I had a friend that used to play bass for them. He's no longer with them, but like my other friend Aaron has been doing their content recently, and it's been super cool getting to see more behind the scenes of like that band. But yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
Side tangent, obviously, but okay. So take me into some of your crazier explorations together as a group.
Oh God.
Let's go dive in.
So just to give a heads up on this one, we already talked about this, and if anybody gets like too crazy or too comfortable with what they're talking about, somebody's gonna yell pineapple.
Perfect. We have a safe word.
Yes, we have a safe word.
I love it.
I guess
Chase, you tell the story.
We'll go hard to start. So we'll start with the grand story.
Great. Let's do it.
So obviously, there was a trip. It was actually back in February, and it was to the Deep South. Now, we we had hit many other states going to the south. It was more towards, it was a city in the Gulf Coast. But we were, I don't even know where to start with this story. I really don't. It was just a lot in one night. There was a send. I call them sends, like when you, like devious sends, when you like basically just say F
Like
it.
a bucket, yeah.
Just go for it. This was like, I've done a lot, outside of this group. I mean, I even did one today. That would be considered devious, but that's a story for another time. But this place really pushed it for me, and it was a place that I really wanted to hit for a very long time. I had actually driven around it. I don't know if you know, but I live in Connecticut. This place was literally 24 hours away in the south. It's about as far as you can get.
For sure.
So obviously, I had driven around it about 9 months previous. I was down there. But we'd planned this trip around the city. When I explain it, some people are going to know.
I feel like I already know, but continue.
But yeah. I'm not gonna say how I got in, but a lot of people
Sure.
are going to know what it was. A hospital. But we had arrived. I think we drove like 24 hours and I think like 2 days. We were
so brain dead.
We got it done less than 24 hours. We left my house at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, and by I think it was 8 o'clock at night on the next that Saturday we were already down there.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
we drive a lot.
Yeah, and this is a spot that you really have to show up with information for. It's very downtown, but it's very well guarded.
Okay.
I'm talking like 4 barbed wire fences, motion sensors all in front, security on all corners, 2 cops front and back in this little. It was a high-rise hospital, very famous. People are going to know what I'm talking about. But there was a festival in this city, and I may have drank a little bit more than I should have.
We were all hammered.
But I would say that I was a little bit too drunk.
Chase was the farthest gone out of everybody in the group,
and I was ready to get in some trouble. I want to say. And if I drink and explore, it's bad news. Like I'm gonna send something. Like I've obviously I've never been arrested for urbex. I've gotten like a ticket that was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Let me chime in real quick. Chase is one of the most calmest people you will ever explore with, and he only drinks to combat his anxiety when he does exploring. If we're about to send someplace and he starts chugging like beer before it, that's how you know it's a bad spot. Like secure, like risk wise, like it's like you're getting yourself into some shit when he starts drinking, because that's the only way he'll stay calm.
I just stopped caring.
Okay, but
I don't know how to explain it.
How are you physically able to explore when you're off your face?
It's something gets inside of me. I like when I just stop caring. I just stopped caring.
You're the guy that would punch the security guard in the face.
He wanted to.
Yes.
Okay.
We were talking about doing it this night.
We were literally in my Jeep sitting there waiting to go, or he was waiting to try and do this. While there's a security guard talking to a bus driver because the bus driver's bus broke down, and he was screaming in my Jeep, wanting to fight both of them because they wouldn't hurry up and leave.
It was really bad. And FYI, I'm only about 130 pounds.
Yeah,
He's a skinny dude.
Anybody? Let's be honest here. Like I'm not facing up against anybody. I'm just like.
But you can talk a big game, I'm sure.
I can talk a ginormous game. So and this has happened many times where I'm like, you know what? I think I gotta get a little tipsy to do this because like I just stopped caring. And there's been many like devious sends. I'll get to that and like whatever. But this one was different. I had to hop about 4 barbed wire fences. I'm cutting myself up. I think I cut my forehead up like really bad.
I remember that.
And I'm just running across the front of this hospital. And and the alarms are going nuts.
Wait. Let me paint the picture a little bit better. He's not only running across this hospital, he has 2 Coronas in his hand while he's doing it.
So drunk running up to a hospital, forehead bleeding, just fucked up.
Just Edward 40 hands with these Coronas, just like going.
And okay, so a little bit of backstory. So we left this festival. It's a big event in the city. And I'm like, I tell Kyle, I'm like, Kyle, I came all the way down here to do this hospital. I know I'm probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
I'm like, but please just let me try. Just let me try. Okay, please. He goes, all right, yeah. Kyle's a reasonable guy.
For sure.
We pull up. We spend 45 minutes going down the wrong, like slipping. We had to go. I think we like jumped onto like a college university. And then I don't know what happened. That part is blurry. But
I'm surprised the whole thing isn't blurry.
Yeah, most of it is, but
I had to freshen up his memory the day after.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So then I go back to the car, like an hour had passed. Kyle's getting like tired. So I'm like, Kyle, just pull around to this side. I'm like, please, Kyle, just give me one more chance. Just one more chance to try this. Just to send this, please.
Now in the beginning, this takes about 4 hours to do. He also tells me that, oh yeah, we won't be there longer than 45 minutes.
For sure.
Now he tells me this at like 11 o'clock at night. So like,
okay, so it's dark outside. It's nighttime.
Oh, it's pitch black.
And you're sending it into a bando in the dark. That dude, I can't. Dark.
We had to
nighttime explorers. I don't know about it.
And if you knew the history of this place before it closed, I'm not going to get into it because if I were to name what happened before it closed, many people would know it by naming what kind of event happened.
Of course.
But I went back to Kyle's car and I was like, Kyle, just give me one more chance. I'm like, I promise. Just give me one more chance. He goes, all right, man, just get in. So he drives us around the corner. It was like 1 minute. This hospital is huge, by the way. And I just like slip under a fence. I start hopping barbed wire fences. That's when I start cutting my face open. All these people, all of them didn't want to do it. They're like, Chase, go figure it out. You want this so bad, you better go and get it.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I'm like, dude, what choice do I have? I gotta go. So yeah, like I said, cops on the corner, security front and back, just motion sensors, 4 barbed wire fences. I'm just hopping. Oh my God. I'm hopping everything. And then I get over the 4, I think it was like 3 or 4 barbed wire fences. I get over it. And I'm like, shit, I got to run in front to get to the opening. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. I start running. Alarms are going like crazy. Right in front of the security guard. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Blaring. This dude isn't moving. Which I was like, that's weird. I'm like, okay, let me just take cover and like see what he does.
Yeah.
I'm like waving my arm to keep the alarms going, just to see if he's gonna do anything. And he's just not moving. He's just sitting in the car.
Is he dead? What's happening?
Turns out he was asleep.
How do you sleep through alarms going off though? That's insane.
They weren't audible. They were only visual alarms.
Oh, so he's passed out. Got it.
It was blaring on this dude's car. Like, I mean, all he had to do was open his eyes and look and be like, oh, like the alarms are going off. Like somebody's in front of that hospital.
They were bright lights too. It wasn't like they were like little like night lights. Like no, like when you close your eyes, you can still see it blinding you like through your eyelids. Like they were bright.
It was no joke. So I'm like waving my arm every time it would go off. I'm like, let me see if I'm going to wave my arm again. So I wave my arm. It goes off for like 20 more seconds. Dude's not doing anything. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I just full sprint. I set off like 5 or 6 of them. The whole front of this hospital is lit up. It's just lit up. I mean, like no joke. And then I get to where I want to go. I find out, okay, this is the way in. And I'm like, I'm not going in this hospital. It's dark as hell in there. Like I'm not going in alone. Like I'm going back to go get one of them. So I run all the way back, set them all off again, hop the 4 barbed wire fences. I'm like, I get back to the car and I'm like, yo, one of you guys are coming in with me. Like I don't care what to say. And they're like, you got the entrance? I'm like, yeah, I got the entrance. Let's go. And Kyle's got probably something to say.
Oh yeah. I will just the whole like the slipping under part. I'm not gonna ruin the whole thing for him, but every time he'd come back, he would be like, guys, I found the way in. And I'm like, okay, did you see the actual inside of the building? He's like, no, but I found the way. Like I found the way through everything. And then he kept going back and forth. And then the last time I look at him, I'm like, dude, unless you have foot inside of building, that's when you come back and let us know. Because this is the kind of place, like a lot of people say, don't explore, don't send a person in by themselves. But
Yeah.
this is the kind of place where, like, if you're two people and you're too many. But one of the last times was he slipped under the fence. And it's one of those fences where, like, you could see, like, it's got the mesh, but you could see through it.
Yeah.
He stands up, looks back and forth, slips back under the fence, and goes, I found the way in. I'm like, dude, we literally seen you on the other side of the fence, stand up, look left and right, and come back under. He's like, and then he's like, damn it, you see me? And then goes back under, and like,
I literally just wanted like somebody to come with me because it was dark, it was stressful.
We're horrible friends.
And these guys were not budging. And then I found the entrance, and I'm like, guys, like, just trust me. And I think I even offered them. I'm like, dude, I'll give you $100. Just come with me, please. I came all the way down. Please just come with me.
Chase's go-to is always offering somebody money, just in like when he really wants you to do something. Dude, I'll pay you. Just do it with me.
Like, but that one I had no option. I came all the way down, and I was like, guys, like, whoever comes to me, I'll give them $100. Turns out it was somebody who has been on this pod before. I'm not going to name him.
Okay.
But he wasn't thrilled about this idea because, like I said, he saw like kind of saw the whole deal about this place, and he was like, dude, like, I really don't want to do this. Like, this is not something I want to do. And I was like, just come. So we start hopping all these fences, running through the sensors. He's like, dude, this is insane. Like, what have you got me into? And we go in, and then he's like, oh, I forgot my camera bag. So we have to run back through the sensors again.
Oh my god!
Hop 4 barbed wire. I swear to God, I slept so good that night.
No, but this is the best part because when they went to go grab their camera gear, then they pulled me into the mix because I didn't want to do this, and it was funny because it's like they're like, all right, just come with us, but Chase didn't give me any details or anything about this. He's like, you just follow me and just whatever you do, just run. I'm like, okay. And then it goes first fence. I'm cutting myself up. Then the sensors start going off. And I'm like, what is going on, dude? Why are we doing this? This isn't fun anymore. Like, why? Like nobody should be doing this level of like stuff. And like, it was such a bad night.
It was stupid. It wasn't even like, oh, it'll be fun. Like, it was literally like stupid.
Our limits were pushed that night. That was the worst. That was the worst explore I've ever done.
I say to this day, I'm shocked that we didn't end up in cuffs for this because we really should have.
Exactly. You specifically, you're the one that spent 2 hours with beer in your hands trying to go up and down this place and just trying to find your way in front of everybody.
It was like one of the worst. Like, there was one above that, like one send. I can't really get into that one. But this one was like really bad. Like, there's a reason why, like, I think I can name 2 other people that in like the last 20 years I've ever done it. Wow. And
Mr. Big Shot over here.
But no, it goes to show that it's tough.
A spot.
Like,
it's a real.
Like, because you think of a spot, they're usually like, I don't know, like hundreds of people have been there.
Sure.
When there's like an open window or an open door. But to only name like 2 people other than yourself that have been there, you're like, okay, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, that's some real shit. So did you get in?
So we got in.
Okay.
We got in, and the minute we got in, I remember like hanging out outside of the window, and you can hear the whole city because, like I said, there was a festival going on. You can hear the honking of the horns. You can hear everything. It was loud. It was really loud. And you step foot in there, and it just goes silent. And it was really, I can't explain it, but this hospital had a very dark last few days. Like, a lot of people died. There was a catastrophic event. A lot of people died in the last few days of that hospital. And it was just quiet the minute you stepped in. And I literally, you can hear a pin drop from the other side of the hospital. It was that quiet. And I just started to like sober up, and I'm like, you know what, dude, like, I don't think I should be in here right now. Like, what I just did was, 1, super illegal.
Yeah.
But 2, like, a lot of people died in here, like, in its final, hours and days.
when we first stepped foot in there, I don't believe in ghosts really. It's not my thing. But something was so off about this place when we stepped in, and maybe it was because this was 1 o'clock in the morning. Our rational thinking is out the window. Our senses are heightened or whatever. But like, I always get these gut feelings when we go to places that like when something's off, like I feel it, and it was the start, or I mean that was just the climax of when everything started to go downhill for me mentally there. And this is actually the same place that I told on the story on my solo podcast where I cried on the roof pretty much
Yeah.
of this place because I was just having that much of an anxiety attack and like of just like of how stressful this place really was. It was just like I don't even wish that on my worst enemies trying to go through something like that because it was just so mentally straining on yourself. Like you had to force yourself to do all this stuff. And while we're doing this, like people can watch you. Like we're doing this in the open at night. Like if somebody was, let's say, walking down the street, they'd be watching us climb these fences and
Sure.
doing all this stuff. So it's like we were one phone call away, or for the security guards and the cops to literally turn around and just look at the building.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for it being so late at night and just because of this like festival and everything, I
Yep.
honestly think that's the only reason why we got in.
Yep.
Like immediate arrest. Like
yeah.
immediately. Like that was the most stressful part. And then I learned after the fact that if you're arrested during this event in this city, they hold you until the event is over. This event lasts for weeks. Like if we got caught doing this, we could have been in jail for a couple weeks.
Oh my God.
I don't think it would have been weeks. It probably would have been more like we'd probably be there for like a real like 5-6 days maybe, but I don't think it would be like that long.
And this city's pretty rough. Like I wouldn't want to go to jail in this city. I'm just gonna say that.
For sure.
But yeah, we got in. Alex had his
I was having a panic attack the entire time we were in there. It was not fun for me.
Like I'm stressing out because all this stuff. But we were like, all right, let's go try to find the main shot, if you will. If I say what it is, people are gonna know. But we start going downstairs and we hear a generator running, and I'm like,
what?
I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, this is what people are talking about. Cause I talked to one guy who had done it before, and he's like, the first 2 floors of that hospital are active, right? And I'm like, and he's like, the shot that you're looking for is on the first floor. They go on the first floor. And I didn't really believe him. Just because the hospital looks so abandoned. No, the lights are on and there are cameras in the stairwells and in the hallways. So I literally turned the corner, lights on and everything, and I'm just staring at this camera looking at me.
And this camera is flashing a blinking red light.
Fuck.
Like
That's
normally when we've run into cameras, it's the black little domers and like they're just like there's nothing going on with them. But because that red light was flashing, I was like, Chase, this is bad news. Like either it's a live recording or somebody's actively watching it.
Yep.
And it's just like, dude, like we can't go any further. And Chase actually almost guilt tripped me into walking through that camera because this kid, I'm having a panic attack, and then this kid starts going, dude, I drove all the way down here. This is 72 hours of my life. I'm not going to get back. And I'm like, all right, well, now I feel like the asshole in this situation. So. Sure. But eventually Chase was just like, all right, like we got to reason with him because Chase was like, he was sober, but not like he was tipsy enough to be like, I'm full sending this bitch.
For sure.
Like, but
I remember, Alex had a little moment, but
that was the first time Chase ever saw me cry too. I was like, this is not good. We need to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's when I started to sober up.
Yeah.
And then I started to figure out, like, we're like hanging out in the hallways of this thing, pitch black. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I should be here right now. Like, I don't know. I had second thoughts. I'm like, dude, a lot of bad stuff happened here.
Yeah.
In its final days of operation. And I'm like, dude, I got, Alex freaking out. I'm like, I don't think I should be doing this right now.
And like it wasn't just the camera that like really set me off, and like the event it was to get inside the building. One, the generators were going, and two, I was the only person that heard this. Everybody else swears they didn't hear it, but I was hearing footsteps the entire time we were in there, and everybody was being loud in the hallways. It was echoing and everything like that. And I'm like, we're gonna get seen. Like somebody's gonna come find us.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because when you made one sound, it reverberated through the entire place.
It was so quiet.
And just to hear that either somebody or something else was in this building with us. And it was just like, we're in no man's land right now. Anything could happen.
Mm-hmm. And Nomad, how are you feeling during all this going down?
Oh, I was in the deep sleeping.
He was asleep the entire time.
Shut the fuck up.
I needed like a
nine-night.
getaway driver and somebody to kind of like stay on the outside to make sure nothing crazy was going to go on.
So you volunteered as tribute to sleep?
Oh yeah, I needed sleep. I was tired.
He took it. Like the reason why that night happened is mostly because of him.
Oh, okay.
Because
Amazing.
he was our watch out, and he hooked us up big time.
That's
I was also like, when we were back at the hotel after all this it was said and done too, like the way that Alex was acting, I'm the most calm person when it's exploring. Like I tell everybody, unless the person physically grabs my shirt, I'm completely calm as to like anything that's going on doesn't affect me.
Gotcha.
So like they were joking like we could see Nomad, he'd be sitting on the stairs just texting away on his phone. We're like, you guys ready to do this or what's going on?
So go ahead.
Oh no, never mind.
Okay. Did you guys like take a break from exploring after this? Because I mean,
did.
after such a bit, I remember Alex, you talking about that in your solo episode, but like Chase, did you keep exploring or what?
I did the exact opposite the next weekend. I did the worst send. The one that got me like Alex, it was the next it's funny because I was making fun of Alex and
I had no mercy from this entire friend group. I was beaten to death from this.
oh fuck, I
got it. I'll bleep it out. Hold on.
yeah,
cool.
Let me write the time code.
Just cut that out. It was literally the weekend after. We had gotten back on a Saturday. I had Sunday to chill out. A couple friends hit me up. They were like, yo, we want to try this place. I can't even really get into detail with it, but it has about 3 active prisons on the property.
Is it the one that I was close by a couple years ago?
No,
not that
Okay,
one.
never mind. Gotcha.
Alex knows what happened that day. But it has about 3 active prisons, armed guards at the front gates.
Fuck that, dude. What?
And I didn't know. And the last person I knew who did this 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So a couple of my friends hit me up. Like this was literally like I don't know, like what 10 days after I did the Southern Hospital. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm the big shot, So so I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. I don't even know like where to be. I don't even know where to begin with. It was the worst. It had me like Alex, and I didn't understand why Alex was freaking out so much. But I have to understand.
Pineapple.
My God.
Pineapple.
Oh my God! Pineapple. So there was this place. It has like 3 active prisons, armed guards at every gate, and it was a week after I did this Southern Hospital. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. No problem. Like, I'll do it. I didn't know anybody who did it in 20 years. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, let's go. I was still like all like, oh, I got this. I just did this hospital, so no problem.
Yeah.
And I showed up and I just immediately I looked at the campus and I was just like, this is not going to be fun. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. And the other people that were with me were like, yeah, let's go. And I'm just like, dude, I can't back out of this. Like when I go into the campus, I can't just like leave the abandoned building. Like they're going to see me leave. There's cops everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm in here for the whole day and night. And I just went in, I did it. There was cameras galore. It was just the worst. It was the worst. It was literally the worst. It was
How
so
long
bad.
did you guys stay in there? It was like 18 hours or something.
Fuck,
18
dude.
to 20 hours from
Yeah.
Oh my god.
from like it was a pre-dawn, 3 a.m. to like I think midnight we were in there. It's
Dude.
like 21 hours. Like it was but that was the one that really I started to feel for Alex a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I saw him freaking out that night. I personally wasn't freaked out, but then it's funny, like a week later I was like, I kind of understand him because we all have our limits,
Yeah.
Karma, bitch.
it was karma. It was karma. It was. And I had my little moment in there where I wasn't crying, but I was heavily breathing. I'm like, do I really want to do this right now? Like I can just leave. Like it's
Come
still
on,
night.
Chase, tell the real story. We all know. There was tears there. Come on.
Okay to cry.
No, there wasn't. There was no tears. But I got in there like 3 a.m. and I'm like, you realize when the sun rises, you can't leave here. You will
For
be
sure.
arrested if you're seen outside of this building. Like immediately arrested if you're caught on the campus.
Damn.
So I'm like, dude, do I just want to leave right now? Like it's 3 a.m. Like I have like 3 hours to just get my way off this campus. I'm like, I can just leave right now and I don't have to spend all day and do all this crap. And I was just like heavily breathing. I'm like, yo, this is how Alex felt when we were, doing the hospital. And I was like, shit. I'm like, this doesn't feel good, Like I feel where he was coming from, Like, but
Damn.
this one was way worse though. This one was bad.
So when you guys are doing these like bigger spots or more risky, high risk spots, and there's cameras everywhere, are you guys masked up? Are you just fucking sending
No, not at all. My
No.
face, I'm sure my
it? For your
face
feet,
is
you
on
got wanted posters all over the fucking
literally, I'm
city.
sure I'm on some like wanted list or anything like that, like for certain areas. Like I'm sure.
Yeah.
I literally last night I went to a place that recently put up a lot of cameras, and it had a padlock on the door. This was last night. I unscrewed I didn't cut the padlock, but I unscrewed what the padlock was like screwed into. I went inside, and apparently they use this hospital uses this building for storage.
Yeah.
So I went inside and I wanted to unseal a tunnel.
Okay.
So that I can like get like good access to like the whole campus, because I was like trying to open up like the whole campus like via underground tunnel, because they are so onto this place. Oh my god, they seal everything, including the underground tunnels.
Wow.
So I get in, I unscrew where the padlock was. I'm like, let me find this tunnel. It's pitch black outside. It was like midnight last night, and I find the tunnel, and it has like 5/16, I think, like nut drivers. So I pull out my drill and I just start unscrewing, and I look to my right, and there is a freaking infrared camera in the building staring right at me. And I just like literally was like, okay, like bye. And I just like left. I put everything back like how it should be. And I was just like, I'm out of here. And I just left. Like, that's how I roll. Like I want to see everything. I don't want to, I try to put everything back as the way, even if I have to like, kind of unscrew something. Well, I can always screw it back in, That's what I like. So I would never like break a window or anything like that, but
you'll unscrew a motherfucking nut.
I was trying to go hard that night. Like I was trying to open up everything, and I just looked to my right, and there's a camera inside the building, and I was like, "Yo, what?" I'm like, and this building wasn't like new. This was like paint peeling off the walls, like flooded.
Okay.
And there's a camera like sticking. I'm like, this is crazy. Like I did not expect that. So I just just turned around and walked away, and nobody came. I was like, okay.
Wow. It's
Unscrewing
wild.
still isn't breaking.
Yeah, exactly. It's not breaking.
If you screw it back, then
as long as you put it back.
not so
You're just temporarily opening the spot.
just temporarily while I'm in there.
You're just making yourself a key to the spot. Fine.
Yeah.
It's a
And
really
then you come
big,
back and watch
convoluted
screw
key.
back in.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you want to see the good stuff, you have to go further. You know, you have to really push it.
Yeah, it's true. So, what do you guys have coming up that you have planned out? You don't have to say names of places or anything, but as a group, like, what do you guys have in the future that you're trying to plan out?
I mean, I know the three of us have a spot that actually I'm gonna tread very carefully touching about this, but we have a spot.
Alex, be very careful about this one.
No, I know what you mean, but it's a very very gate kept spot, and if I say too much, I'll probably lose some friends.
Sure, so don't even say it.
Yeah, no. But it's a very very low key spot. It's something that I've been wanting to see for years, or for the 3 years that I've been doing urbex. I found it very early on, and I want to do it so bad. And so now that we figured our way through the treps of that exploration, we're gonna attempt it, and hopefully it goes well.
And how long are you guys like how often are you guys going to explore together versus by yourselves?
Well, I'm in a situation right now where both my wonderful, reliable Jeeps have decided to just die. So I don't have a car. So my exploring has just been cut to zero. But I mean, because that'll all be fixed. Because when I finally take a Sunday to fix what's wrong with them, I'll be going back out. But I mean, for this summer, like I'm hoping that all three of us can just like keep continuing the grind of what we started the year with.
For sure.
We have stuff planned, definitely. Yeah, no, can't go into too much detail on that, but
okay.
Like that's the kind of photos we can't post until we're on our deathbed. That's the kind of place it is.
It's like that.
It's like that.
Wow. It's a place that I 100% want to go back to, because when I went with two other buddies, one of which was on the podcast before, but I was literally at work. It was during an ice storm, and they called me at like 4:00 and like, yo, we're going here. Get out of work. Do what you got to do. Like, try to get out of there. And ironically, about 15 minutes later, my boss goes to me and says, hey, we're dead. Do you want us to go home for the day? I'm like, yes. So I packed up my tools, got ready, and called them and said, hey, let's go. We're meeting there. They meet at my house because they're passing my house anyways. So we went to my house. I go there, and by the time we get there, it's dark. So every photo that I took was just horrible. Even if long exposure, I shoot Sony, so I had it all the way like set as high as I could possibly
400,000 ISO.
Pretty much. And it still came out horrible. So I'm like, my goal is to get back there during the day.
Gotcha.
I like all urbex places. Like, I like all abandoned places, but I have like these kind of places. There's like
there's a special place in home for it.
Like those and hospitals and schools are probably my favorite. But like, just this place, if you knew like what place it was, it's just you would already know like you have to get back there just because of the story behind it.
Yeah,
very historical.
I don't even know what the place is, but I have a feeling that I know what the place is just by like the things that I know about this community and the gems of urbex. And I'm sure this is one of those gems that I'm thinking of, but.
when we're off record, we'll give you like a 3 guess kind of thing.
Sure. So that sounds like a fun game to me. I'm super down with that. So, did you guys have any other crazy stories you wanted to share before we wrap this up? Because I know you guys are gonna do your own episodes. Alex, you've obviously already been on the show, but for the other two, definitely want to have you guys back on to share your story more and dive deeper into your journey as urban explorers. But if you got another one, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, we do have another trip planned, and not till next year, but we're doing another 9-day road trip. Well, 9, 10, depending on what day we leave. But
nice.
Yeah, it's we're gonna meet a buddy of mine that I've been wanting to meet. Big Banks. We've been talking for years, and he's another one that's in our group chat. He's awesome guy.
He's very cool.
But me and him haven't met yet. We're both tall people. We're both bigger guys, and we both have beards.
He's like just big. He's a large human. Yeah, I met him twice.
He's like, what, 6'8"?
He's like 2 of me stacked on top of each other.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I'm 6'1", and like him and me, we both have beards and everything. So like me and him, we're like the bodyguards of urbex or something.
You are. I feel so safe when I'm exploring with him. Granted, I've only explored with him like 1.5 times. I would say a half because we didn't actually like get into any spots the second time. But the first time I explored with him, it was him, Jeremy, myself, Steve Ronan and my friend Columbus. And that was when I first decided to move to Nashville. I like flew in for some music stuff to record some music with some friends. And I got hit up by them and they were like, hey, we're going to go explore if you want to come tag along. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I love these dudes. I obviously follow their stuff online and, so I got to go explore with them and it was super rad. It was super fucking cool. We set an alarm off at a house and went to an abandoned school here in Nashville that got hit by a tornado. So it was like all fucked up and destroyed and just so sick. And like all the like greenery was growing back through the floors and stuff. And I have actually printed out 20 by 30s and they're in my living room. I all the artwork in my house is like abandoned places that I've explored because I feel like we forget that photography is also a tangible thing and like you should print your stuff out every now and then because it is special. That's why I have 2 photography books about urban exploring and it's been super cool. But thank you guys so much for coming on No Tracers. If you can let everybody know where to find you online, we'll start with Nomad, Alex, and then Chase. Go ahead.
So I am on Instagram, YouTube. I have Darkroom if you ever wanted to buy prints, like you were just talking about your prints at home. Yeah, everything's under Exploring with Nomad.
Yeah, my links haven't changed since the last time I was on the podcast. Urban EX Alex, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm literally on every platform. So if you like my content, just follow me, show some love.
So I'm really not Chase. I am just on Instagram alone. So if you want to give me a follow, give me a follow. So yeah.
So that was my episode with Exploring with Nomad, Urban X Alex, and It's Really Not Chase. Please give them a follow if you guys enjoyed this episode and you want to check out more of their photography, more of their video work, more of their content. Go check them out. Super cool guys. If you enjoyed this episode of No Tracers, please do me a huge favor. You can support the podcast by subscribing, by leaving a rating and feedback. That really helps this podcast grow. So thank you guys for doing that. Share the podcast with your friends in the community. Put it in the Discord chats that you guys are in. Doesn't matter which Discord chat, but please share this throughout the Discord chats in the community. And check out Smoke Blackcraft if you guys are into that 420 lifestyle that I talked about at the beginning of the show. Thank you guys for supporting smokeblackcraft.com. Use promo code JustTheLetterK for 15% off your order. I will talk to you guys next Friday with another episode of No Tracers. If you want to support me further, you can pick up a copy of either of my photography books, photo print, or some merchandise at notracers.com. My name's Kay, just the letter K. I'll talk to you guys next week. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no trace.